The Eschers were on the move again. Their once quiet town had become a bustling tourist trap. Endless streams of camera-wielding visitors flooded the streets. The constant chatter and flashing lights drove them to the brink of madness. They craved solitude. They yearned for peace. And so, under the cover of night, they slipped away like shadows. Esther led the way, her silver hair gleaming in the moonlight. She was their matriarch, their guiding star. The others followed in silence, carrying only what they could fit in their worn backpacks. They left behind homes filled with memories, but they took with them something far more precious, their secrets. The forest swallowed them whole. Branches reached out like grasping fingers. Leaves whispered conspiracies in the wind. The Eschers moved as one, a fluid entity of shared purpose. They were leaving behind the noise, but they were also running from something else, something darker, something that lurked in the corners of their minds. As dawn broke, they emerged on the other side of the woods. A new landscape stretched before them, rolling hills dotted with ancient oaks, mist-shrouded valleys promising refuge. Here they would start anew. Here they would continue their traditions. Away from prying eyes and curious minds, the Eschers were home for now. Esther's tradition was as old as time itself, or so she claimed. Every year, on the winter solstice, she would venture out alone. Her target? A uniformed officer of the law. The others never asked why. They never dared to question. It was simply the way things were. The ritual was always the same. Esther would return at dawn, her clothes stained with something dark. Her eyes would gleam with a fierce satisfaction. The others would gather around her like moths to a flame. They would listen in rapt attention as she recounted her night's work. No one outside the group knew of this tradition. It was their most closely guarded secret. Some of the younger members whispered theories among themselves. Was it revenge? A sacrifice to some forgotten deity? Or simply the whim of a woman touched by madness? None dared to voice these thoughts aloud. The aftermath of Esther's outings was always the same. A flurry of news reports, a community in shock, and the Eschers sitting in silent solidarity, their faces masks of innocence. They were experts at blending in, at becoming invisible. It was a skill honed over generations, a skill that had kept them safe so far. Beneath the surface, the Eschers were a cauldron of simmering tensions. Trust was a fragile thing, easily shattered. Every glance held suspicion. Every word was weighed for hidden meanings. They were bound together by necessity, but that bond was stretched to its breaking point. Money was always an issue. Our nomadic lifestyle made steady income difficult. Some resorted to petty theft. Others sold trinkets in marketplaces. A few had skills they could barter. But it was never enough. The constant struggle wore on us all. It bred resentment. It fostered doubt. Esther ruled with an iron fist. Her word was law. But even she couldn't quell the whispers of discontent. Some of the younger members dreamed of leaving, of starting a new life away from the group, but they knew the price of betrayal. The Eschers did not forgive, and they never forgot. Despite the internal strife, they presented a united front to the outside world. They were masters of deception, of putting on a show. To outsiders, they appeared as a close-knit family. Eccentric, perhaps, but harmless. Little did the world know the darkness that lurked beneath their smiles. Section 4. The Oath to Protect. Protecting Esther was more than a duty, it was a sacred oath. Each member of the group had sworn to lay down their life for her if necessary. They were her shield, her armor against a world that would seek to destroy her, and by extension, all of them.
The oath was taken in blood, a ritual as old as Esther's solstice tradition. New members were initiated under a full moon, their palms sliced open, their blood mingling with the earth. The words of the oath were spoken in a language long forgotten by the outside world, but to us, it was our mother tongue.
Some took the oath more seriously than others. The true believers would throw themselves in harm's way without hesitation. Others saw it as a necessary evil, a price to pay for belonging. But all understood the consequences of breaking it. The stories of oath breakers were whispered around campfires, cautionary tales that chilled the blood.
Esther knew the power she held over the group. She wielded it like a weapon. Her every whim was catered to, her every desire fulfilled. But even she understood the precarious nature of her position. One misstep, one moment of weakness, and it could all come crashing down.
The tavern loomed before them, a decrepit structure on the edge of nowhere. Its weathered sign creaked in the wind, a forgotten relic of a bygone era. This would be their sanctuary, their fortress against the encroaching world. The Eschers approached with caution. Old habits die hard. Inside, the air was thick with dust and secrets. Cobwebs adorned every corner. The floorboards groaned under their feet, but to the Eschers it was perfect. Esther's eyes gleamed as she surveyed their new domain. Already plans were forming in her mind. This place would serve their needs well. The group set about making the tavern habitable. Dust was swept away, furniture repaired, windows were boarded up to keep out prying eyes. Each member fell into their assigned role with practiced ease. They worked in near silence, efficiency born of years on the move. As night fell, they gathered around a makeshift fire. The tavern's great hearth roared to life for the first time in decades. Esther sat in a place of honor, her silver hair glowing in the firelight. She spoke of their future, of the traditions they would uphold, of the secrets they would keep. The others listened in reverent silence. Their new chapter had begun. The first signs of trouble came with the dawn. A lone figure on the horizon, watching, waiting. The Eschers tensed. Had they been followed? Discovered so soon? Panic rippled through the group, but Esther remained calm. Her eyes never left the distant watcher. Days passed. The figure remained, sometimes closer, sometimes further away, but always there, always watching. The group's nerves frayed, tempers flared, old grievances bubbled to the surface. The fragile peace they had maintained for so long began to crack. Esther called a meeting. Her face was grim, her words cryptic. She spoke of a reckoning, of a debt long overdue. The others listened with growing unease. What had their leader done? What storm was brewing on their horizon? Questions multiplied. Answers remained elusive. As the sun set on another tense day, a decision was made. They would confront their watcher, face whatever threat loomed over them. But, as they prepared for battle, doubt gnawed at their resolve. Had they finally run out of places to hide? Was this the end of their long journey? Only time would tell, and time, it seemed, was running out.